Most people accept whatever emails Apollo gives them, and they lose 40% of the total addressable market. So over here, we built a waterfall system that maximizes both your TAM and deliverability, turning 5,000 plus scraped leads into 4,000 validated emails, and here's the exact methodology. So, when you first get a lead list from Apollo or Crunchbase, you typically have two critical problems. Number one, Apollo sometimes gives you work emails, and sometimes it gives you personal emails, and sometimes neither of the two. Whereas number two is that neither of these emails are actually validated, which kills your deliverability. Most people either validate it once, or they do not validate the emails at all and call it done. That is simply said amateur work. Here's how we maximize our TAM while ensuring inbox deliverability. So the first step, as we can see, is smart email merging. If we take a look at this, we can see that sometimes Apollo provides us with professional work emails, and at times they give us personal emails, where if we scroll up, we can see we have a decent number of personal emails. Where simply said, Apollo gives us scattered data. So what we do is we prioritize the emails intelligently using the merging system in play.com. So if the work email exists, we use it, and if not, we fall back to the personal email as we can see. If neither exists, we simply leave it empty for the later waterfall effect that we're going to be doing. And this ensures on a high level that we're working with the highest intent emails first, because work emails typically have higher engagement than personal emails for B2B outreach. The next step is initial validation using Enrichly, and this is where most people actually stop, but that is the mistake. As you can see, some emails provided by Apollo are invalid. These emails would instantly bounce and destroy our sender's reputation. But here's the key insight. For every invalid email, that's a lost opportunity from our ICP. So instead of accepting this as a loss, we activate the waterfall effect later on. For the exact email addresses, this is actually the exact waterfall methodology that maximizes our TAM, where the first waterfall effect is actually done using AnyMail, where if you notice, there's actually conditional logic for each one of these rows of data or specific leads. And what this actually does is that we only run AnyMail if the initial validation failed. And this is what actually allows us to save API costs while finding mails for leads that would have been lost otherwise. And as you can see, for a couple of them we did find the emails, and for a couple of them we did not find, and that is totally expected. The next waterfall effect is actually done using lead magic. If we click into this, we can see over here where the conditional logic again only runs in the scenario that the Apollo validation failed and AnyMail also came up empty, where we can even take a look at it. If we see the column valid, we can see we're running this if valid is false, and email 2, which was the email outputted by AnyMail, does not exist. Finally, as we can see, this is a third waterfall effect where we use find email, where we only run this if all the previous attempts have been failed. And once again, as you can see, we're building on it. The initial Apollo validation failed, AnyMail did not provide us with an email, and then Lead Magic did not provide us with an email as well. This is how we run a complete waterfall effect, ensuring that this step of the workflow only runs if all previous attempts failed. And the goal over here is not a 100% hit rate. It is maximizing the recovery of our total addressable market. Valid email we find is a potential client we would have lost otherwise. And again, I do want to bring to attention the conditional logic that is really important and critical for cost optimization here. Without this, we would be running the API calls on every single row, burning through credits unnecessarily. Where in this case, we only run, as we can see, we only spend money on the specific rows of data that we know we need to be using these API calls. If they already have a valid email initially from Apollo, we don't need to run the waterfall effect. Instead, for instance, if we already found an email in step 1 of the waterfall, where if we take a look at it, AnyMail provided us with an email over here, we completely skip step 2 and 3. And this ensures, and this is really the difference between systematic thinking and just throwing through tools at a problem. And then as we can see, the final step is merging all the discovered emails from the waterfall effect into one common column, and finally running one more email validation through the waterfall effect. Whereas we can see, if we look into validate email, once again, we're only running this if merge enrich emails, which is this specific column, exists and it is populated. And as we can see, finally what we do then is we do final emails, where now what we're doing is we're merging the validated emails from Apollo along with the validated emails from a waterfall effect using Lead Magic, AnyMail, and Enrichly to finally create one final merged column of all the merged emails, where as we can see we have conditional logic once again, where once we are confident that these are the emails that are validated and we have already maximized our TAM discoverability as well, Well, we can simply clean up the company names and upload these over to any campaign, whether that be through Instantly, Smart Lead, LinkedIn Growth Machine, HeyReach, whatsoever. And such methodologies are really the reason why campaigns consistently outperform. We're not just trying to validate emails, we're systematically maximizing the value extraction of every single lead list. Most people, I've seen that they typically accept the limitation of the prospecting database, but we've built systems that overcome those limitations. And when you're working with really high intent ICP leads, every lost email is lost revenue potential. And this waterfall effect ensures that we're squeezing maximum value out of every single person on the list. So this video or this system is what I would really like to say is the difference between basic email validation and enterprise grade lead optimization.